switching over. We are back. We're getting into our final match of the day. It's going to be BCX versus Xylo. First map is going to be Expedition Lost of all maps. Kind of really surprised this didn't get vetoed in a TVZ by the Terran player. So have to see how this goes for BCX, if he's going to be able to deal with this map or not, because it's extremely difficult to play a later game on this map as Terran, or even as like a mid game as a Terran. But have to wait and see. We do have our players spawning in the top right in pink. This go around from Team Unrivaled. It is Xylo.
And in the bottom left from Team Bear Slops, it is the red Terran BCX. See if his hatred of Overgrowth is worth it having to play on this map. And then Varney Station if he gets the game through as well. Not the best map for BCX. So he wanted to veto Overgrowth so badly because he hates it. So is it worth it? This irrational hatred.
Yeah, that's we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I mean, as you said, it's not the greatest of maps or map situations for a Terran player to deal with, but if he's confident enough in his play, and I mean, he's played really well in that last series. It didn't go so well in the first series against the other Unrivaled Zerg that's in this group. So if Xylo is able to repeat that, could have an interesting series on our hands. Could maybe be the first series that goes to 3 games, but could also just be a 2-0 once again. I mean, we haven't had a series go to 3 games. You're talking about how quickly this group has gone thus far, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, when everything's a 2-0, especially when both of the ZVZs were really quick 2-0s even. So
yeah, no real like roach wars for ZVZ, which is a surprise, which is nice, I guess. Nice quick games. BCX changing it up again. He's going for that quicker gas. Not necessarily for a Reaper. It was a little bit. It wasn't the 12-12 like you would get for a Reaper. It was 12-13, which you can still go Reaper off. Just going to be a little bit later. Gets a quicker SCV instead. Just a little bit different on the timing of things. I'd like to see him go Reaper on this map though. Not that Reapers are specifically good to like get in the base. Like there's only really one path they can go. But because it is such a hard map for Terran, that extra scouting that the Reaper provides is going to be...
He's definitely going to need it too, because Xylo is in gas. He's already got 50, 60 gas. His pool is finished up. I'm not sure if he's going to go for just roaches really quickly, or what he's doing exactly. If there's going to be speed, and then maybe roaches to follow that up with. Break down the back rocks with roaches. Go in there, go in with the speed links to the back rocks, and then send the roaches around to the front. Be super annoying. Like I said, this is a really awkward map to deal with as a Terran player. And he goes, Roach Warren coming down from Xylo. No surprise. It's going to throw a lot of his early gas into those roaches. It's going to be kind of a matter of, can BCX defend this? He's got Reapers on the way, but Reapers aren't really what you want to deal with roaches, obviously. He's got a command center on the low ground even. And those roaches, okay, they're not going to pop. They're not going to get over there by the time the CC is able to turn into an orbital, then lift up and get into the main base to stay safe. But it's a matter of what B6 is going to be able to get up behind this. I mean, probably got a bunker coming down, and he sees no natural, and he immediately throws another bunker in his main base, realizing that's probably what's going on. And he's even throwing down a tech lab on that
tech
base
lab,
too.
Yeah, it's a tech lab, possibly for Marauders, which is going to be super helpful against these roaches. He's still going to be
even getting scout, but I think he just is kind of assuming at this point exactly what's going to be, and he's correct. Yeah. He gets a 7 roach rush. That's a lot of roaches to deal with early. He's got to have Marauders coming out to go into this bunker, maybe even make a factory, and a factory coming down as well, maybe for some Widow Mines if he wants to try to go for tanks. It'll be a little bit difficult to get to tanks simply because you have that much gas, but you gotta have it. He doesn't have much in the way of production right now, and there we go. 7 roaches popping out saying hello to the Reaper. Reaper's still gonna get away. That's funny. Reaper, good job. He's got 2 Reapers on the map, so those could actually poke in and be annoying still.
Cancelled that bunker and repositioned it as well. So this bunker should still finish in time, but it's less than ideal. He is getting Marauders and Concussive Shell, and he's really tight. I think he repositioned that so he can make a second wall. I like that actually. He's going to have multiple layers of walls here to defend against this. And if he can get his back rocks walled off with a bunker as well, it's going to make this really difficult for Xylo to push up against.
The roaches are here. They do run directly into the Marauder, and no damage done at all so far. And BCX already had SCVs pulled and waiting on top of the bunker. Xylo's going to have a good amount of time where he can just kind of stay down here at the natural and be annoying, but once this Marauder count gets to a decent amount, it's already up to 3 here. He's going to have 4 in a second. He's got a factory building Widow Mines. He's breaking down these back rocks, so he may just want to just ninja expand behind all of this to that back rock location and just forget this regular natural. Widow Mine does go down, so that's going to be an extra annoyance for Xylo's Roaches to actually have to deal with to get up into the base of BCX even. So, early rush hasn't done a lot, and worker count 8 in favor of our Terran player at this point.
And he throws down a 3rd CC as well.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty comfortable, I gotta say.
Yeah.
He can even micro against the Roaches with the Marauders if he wants to. He's going to outrange them by a little bit. And with a concussive shell, as soon as he does decide to push out, I imagine once he has a little bit more from his factory, but he's already got 5 Marauders now, and he's starting to push down. This is ramp here. He's going to even make a bunker at the low ground. The Roaches are still here, just kind of waiting to be able to do something useful, but I haven't found a use for them just yet.
Xylo, he has his natural established. He's starting to saturate it now as well. A little bit of a supply block. There's 3 overlords, or 2 overlords, with a 3rd one on the way, do pop out. And to ramp up that drone production by the looks of things. As BCX is getting his natural established now. I'm surprised Xylo didn't swing around and try and break those back rocks though, just to try and keep the pressure on with this early Roaches. They really didn't do much at all.
Well, not really. I mean, 2 worker kills for that much gas expenditure early in the game. Xylo is going up to 4 gases already. I would almost think he could possibly just try to do a bust with some banelings, but it looks like he's got a ton of lings right now. He's up to 18 or 24 lings. Just sitting out his natural, and it's Marauders moving across the map, but Marauders don't fare too well against all these lings. And I don't think the B6 is going to be expecting to see all these lings sitting here. I mean, he's still going to trade well. Actually, it looks like Xylo was trying to run past this, but he will get mostly a surround on those, but does lose. He's going to lose all of his Roaches to deal with this. He's going to lose some lings as well, and definitely going to hurt this push that was attempted by Xylo. Xylo making 6 more Roaches once again, realizing that he just killed a bunch of Marauders, so he could maybe actually do some work, but without a Baneliness to actually help this out, I'm not sure exactly what Xylo is going to be able to do, unless he does indeed go for these back rocks.
This tank and bunker with the Widow Mine and Depot positioning, BCX is well defended here. He's well positioned. Even sending a tank around to the back here to defend against these rocks. Really liking BCX's position here. And he's playing the way this map should be played as a Terran player. He kind of just has to play like this and defend with tanks, just because Roaches are so good on this map with these back rocks and really easy to abuse. This 3rd base is spotted by this Marauder. You're going to start trying to kill it.
I mean, honestly, it could. Xylo will send his lings back to take out that Marauder. It would take a very long time, obviously, but with Stim, it's going to take a good amount of damage actually on this hatchery. He will kill that Marauder off, but there's a little bit of an annoyance there for Xylo. He's still trying to posture on the map a little bit with only a couple of Roaches, however. He is going into Spire, probably realizing that his opponent's got some tanks. He's got a lot of things that don't really shoot up at the moment. He's got a lot of Marauders. He's not going to have Stim. Actually, he does have Stim. I'm saying I just saw it be used. But not a lot of Marines right now, and BSX is trying to make this up by making a lot of Widow Mines to actually give himself some amount of defense against Mutalisks.
+1 is on the way for BCX, as Xylo is only just throwing down his E-Bays now, so a bit of an upgrade lead for the Terran player as a result of that early gas expenditure. Is BCX trying to put pressure on this 3rd base. The Lings are here to clean this up, and Xylo is getting his creep spread starting to really push out across the map. He throws down a 4th base as well. I really like this as well. It makes it so hard for the Terran player. It's really hard for them to expand, but quite easy for these to expand as well. Anything Xylo really needs to start working on these rocks for his main, just so he can reinforce to this base a little bit faster.
Good lord, 13 mutas in production as soon as that Spire finishes. He had a little bit of gas banked up there, did Xylo. Yeah. I mean, not going into those upgrades at all, definitely let him make that nice swell of banelings, or of Mutalisks. So that's going to be something that Xylo or BCX is going to have to defend against and actually see that it's coming. He hasn't scouted out the fact that there is a Spire just yet. All he has seen is this third hatch rate is kind of up, and you're seeing a third hatch this late and not seeing any gas over there. You got to think he's not thinking there's going to be 13 mutas coming across the map right now, and 13 mutas can. There's a lot of these portions of army that he can probably fight just head on, but at the moment he's just going to Widow Mines. Yeah, he's going to try and go for the third base, and there's really nothing over to defend right now.
Those Widow Mines do at least some work, get a kill each, weaken these Mutalisks up a little bit. Just delays this third, just enough. So Xylo is starting to saturate his third base, but it's not really up and mining yet. He needs to ramp up that mining and that gas production. Baling nest only just starting now. That 14-minute baling nest.
Yeah, it's going to be rough to hold this push off, and with nothing but some mutas and units that don't actually splash, that's so much bio here. And with the 1-1 with stamina, actually, there's only one medevac, but that's going to be plenty to deal with whatever Xylo actually has. And this third base is not going to get established. A little bit of an overstim perhaps from BCX, but he does kill off 7 workers. He's going to get the hatch, he's going to get a queen over here as well. Luckily for Xylo, he does have another secondary third base set up over on the left side that I'm not sure has been scouted by BCX. No, it hasn't been scouted by BCX, so he doesn't actually know that it's there, but he doesn't really care too much, it seems. He's just going to go directly to the main base and try to put himself in a really nice spot. I mean, there's a lot of room behind the buildings here for our Zerg player, but it's going to take a little while for these units to actually drop out of here. They're still going to get so much damage on without any banelings to help out, without any upgrades on those lings. Trading so well is BCX right now, but he will get cleaned up eventually. Mutas will fly in and clear out the rest of this drop and the 2 medevacs as well.
So medevac spot? There we go. Does clean up the medevac. BCX uses this though. He's going to try and get this creep under control. Has a couple of Widow Mines with this. Gets a good amount of creep tumors. Another scan going down. Going to pick up some more creep tumors. Xylo can't really stop this at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's just sitting and waiting for his Banes to finish up, but yeah, even with the Banes finishing up, this really isn't that much of an army over here for BCX. I don't think he really minds too much about losing this, and we saw this in the games against Smiley. He just throws an army away, backs off, keeps his medevacs alive, and Xylo actually is losing like 4 or 5 overloads over here to some turrets at this 4th base location of BCX. It's going to supply block him pretty heavily, actually. 102 of 86 right now. What does he have any larvae? He doesn't have any larvae right now, so he can't even unsupply block himself. He's got 2 overloads in production, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be enough to actually unsupply block. Oh, okay, it will be. Just barely will unsupply
just
block
barely.
him, but it just barely isn't going to help as much. There we go. 6 or 5 more in production on top of those 2. But still, so much of an army moving out here for BCX. You gotta run directly into the army of Xylo. Only 4 Banes over here right now. Not gonna be nearly enough to deal with the army that BCX has with just minimal splitting.
A lot of them going off on Marauders as well. GG called. The Mana Mules flow.
Yeah, I love how he throws down the Mana Mules. Not many people will do that in this league, but it's kind of fun to see him doing it at least.
I'm a fan of it. I try and do it as much as I can when I'm winning. I think it's just ironic because none of us are really good at the game. Like,
no, right?
There's some pretty good diamonds, but let's be honest, we're all the top players are diamond players here. So they're not like they're professionals or jam players or anything like that. Yeah, there's still the trash talk, there's still the BM and the drama and everything else that goes along with StarCraft. It's fun to see.
Sorry, I started the wrong map initially. We're not plugging Inferno Pools again. It's incorrect. I'm not sure why I had that in my head, but oops. Mouse, please. So we are going to be getting into map number 2. It's going to be on Catalina. No surprise, this has been pretty much BCX's go-to map for every single series that we've seen played so far with him. So it could potentially be the last match of the day. So ask the players if they're ready, and if they are, we will get into this game. Xylo, he tried something cheesy early on a map that would kind of work well for cheese, but just didn't effectively use it. And I think it was too easy to scout.
Yeah.
But he's playing to BCX's style. BCX in previous games, none of the games he's played so far today, he hasn't used the Reaper, and he used the Reaper this game.
Yeah, the first game he does is the game he needs it the most.
Yeah, so a bit of poor luck there for Xylo, to say the least. But it's a good decision out of BCX, realizing that his opponent had picked Expedition Lost and could have gone for something like that. I mean, Xylo has been pretty aggressive in his games, so BCX wisely playing to the player he is playing. We are in our game. It could be the last one, and spawning in the bottom right does not want to be eliminated here in the round of 32. From Team Unrivaled in blue, it is Xylo.
And in the top of Catalina, up 1-0, looking to get out of this group, it is the Yellow Terran from Team Baslos. It is BCX. Have they changed colours? They went yellow and blue last game, were they?
I don't think so. Xylo was pink, I think.
Yeah. Oh well. Little things.
Yeah. Not a huge deal. The biggest of deals. Pros like to do it to me too. When I was casting for ITSO Trophy, the way their overlay worked, like the name panel wasn't an in-game function. It was actually like you had to edit the file in Photoshop to get the colors correct. And players kept switching colors in the middle of a series. So I kept having to edit the file in Photoshop between games, which, to say the least, was not enjoyable. But you know,
unlucky.
Yeah, some players would actually pay attention and switch colors, and some of the refs actually realized it was happening and made them switch. But not quite as big as the deals here. We do have the interface in game that will actually pay attention to your color and use it correctly. So it's nice to see. At least
BCX reverting to that one rack expand style that he has been using for the majority of his games so far. He's been going one racks into command center, into gas, into the combat shield and hellbats, and killing the Zerg third, and then killing the Zerg pretty much. So far, out of him, it's a good style. He lacks scouting though, which is Xylo tried to abuse last game, but didn't pay off, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a good idea from Xylo. It was the only thing he probably could have done, really. It almost worked, just about worked. But the first time that he goes to Reaper Expand, he does it on the map that he really needs to do it on. So we'll just see what Xylo decides to do here. Looks like he's, at the moment, just going for a pretty macro setup. Went for that hatch first, into his pool, and then to his gas. So he's not too worried about seeing a lot of early units from his opponent. It's just going to be, once again, just Marines, and a little bit later we'll see some gas coming from BCX.
Xylo is going to try and save this Overlord, and I think this is the first time BCX isn't going to pick off an Overlord with this opening. Even sending an SDV to this cliff to try and pick up an Overlord, I think, and doesn't quite get it. The Zerg players,
it's a good decision, but wisely figured out by Xylo, realizing that he hasn't seen a Reaper. It means there's Marines on the map. He needs to get that Overlord somewhere safe really quickly, compared to the normal. You have a little bit more time usually to get this Overlord somewhere where it's not going to die off, but not going to be the case in this game. Xylo will keep that alive so long as he doesn't rally another Overlord to an awkward position and get sniped off by the two Marines that are actually on the map already. There's only a couple Lings over here, so these could go down, and well, just being a little bit of an annoyance. And with the Queen here, it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah. Speed started for Xylo. He still stayed in gas though, so still mining gas. I'm looking to maybe get a quick lair or put on some aggression of his own after a Ling speed finishes. Good micro from BCX.
He's going to get with both of those Marines. Oh my goodness. That's rough.
Them trades.
It's only two Lings, but it's two Lings that you didn't get anything for. And early on, that's kind of annoying. Xylo's not going to recreate those Lings or anything. He's actually going for a Roach Warren very quickly here, so depending on how many drones he does decide to make, could be seeing yet another all-in coming out of our Zerg player in game number 2.
BCX already has his bunker established, and he's getting a wall down in front of the bunker as well. It makes it a little bit more difficult to bust for him. He's going to want to try and get these roaches across the map as unscouted as possible. Yeah. So that's the key for Xylo here.
Kind of luckily for Xylo, I mean, BCX is going for the build he has been going for recently. most of his games, he's going to get Hellions out right now. He's not going to be going for mines. He's not going to be going for tanks, at least not until he scouts what is actually coming towards him. And once he figures that out, I'm sure he's going to be swapping over and probably making some extra barracks, but there's going to be nothing really but a bunch of Marines out to deal with. And we have 8 roaches in production right now, a lot of lings as well to help this out. There isn't a baneling nest, and I doubt there's going to be one coming down, considering that Xylo has pulled out of gas completely at this point. So he just wants to get a lot of damage done, and it's quite possible that he does get damage done, assuming he's able to get in unscouted, like you said. BCX is being active on the map with his first 2 Hellions, so he should get a scout off on these roaches. Actually, he's going to run directly into them, but still, it's a matter of can BCX actually defend against what's coming his way.
The armory has just begun. The armory is going to be pretty good against lings only as well. If that, don't think it's going to finish in time though. More bunkers are being thrown down. Wouldn't mind seeing a little secondary wall as well, just to protect against the bust. There is no baneling nest behind it, but more bunkers the better. Create some chokes. Yeah, it does throw in a few more depots to help wall this off.
It's still a lot of roaches here. They're going to take a lot of damage. Actually, they were eventually going for the bunker, but going for the depots now. One of them is about to fall down, so the door is quite open here. There's not a ton of lings. Actually, most of those lings were actually on follow on the roaches, but now the roaches are attacking. They should probably go behind the mineral line instead of attacking these 2 bunkers, which are getting repaired. So BCX is actually trading pretty well out of this. Only lost 6 workers so far. Xylo is actually moving those roaches and lings behind now, so he can actually try and get some damage done, but he's just rallying more and more lings through that hole to their deaths. But still, these roaches have to be dealt with. There's a pretty good number of units here, and with another Widowmine shot going off, these roaches will be cleaned up. He's even going to lose an Overlord here. Now, I mean, Xylo's trying to switch back into drone production, adding on 11 drones right now, so he got some worker kills, forced out a couple of bunkers, but that was a lot of units that went down, and you look at the army supply right now, 24-4. B6 still has this setup where he has a lot of Marines. He's got Hellbats available if he wants to go across the map with those, as well as some of these mines he can pick up and take with him, and really put some pressure on the third of Xylo here.
Yeah, I don't think if BCX chooses to move across the map, I don't think Xylo can hold the third base at all. He's invested a lot of gas into those roaches. He doesn't have a baneling nest. And really, the last thing he wants to be building at the moment is army, but BCX is going to force him to do that. Even getting an Overlord here, it doesn't supply block him for the moment, but less than ideal. There's not even creep spur connecting these would-be bases yet either. This ling roach push it's not all in, but it puts him such a ways behind. Some Marines and Hellbats swinging around here. If you can let this third even finish before and get a kill on it instead of a cancel, that's going to be ideal, I think.
I don't think there's really a way that Xylo's going to be able to hold up their base. He probably should just go ahead and cancel it. He's got a few roaches out. He's got 4, but there he goes. He will go ahead and cancel that. And this also may actually kind of just force Xylo into making a lot more roaches than he wanted to. He's got 4 out right now. He's got 5 that are popping at the moment, and he is going for +1 attack on those roaches as well. So he may have forced himself to play Roach Hydra in this game, at least for a little while. And it still can be pretty powerful, but maybe if it's not a style that Xylo plays a lot, he may not enjoy it, but it's something it's just necessitated by the fact that he has to defend right now. And depending on how much pressure BCX continues to put on, will kind of dictate how long Xylo is stuck on this composition.
Replants his third. Going to try and defend it again. There's BCX moving up to kill this would-be 4th. I'm going to get it before it even goes down, I think.
Well, no minerals wasted, except for the drone.
Oh, trying to save the drone.
He buys a little time for his army, actually, which is kind of nice. And it's going to allow a few more roaches to actually start, at least. Lair is finishing up as well for Xylo, but still a really, really small army force for him right now. He's got 9 roaches. He's got 9 more in production, but those aren't actually available. There's really not much here for BCX. All these Marines, they do have stem. He's actually going to pick up a lot of Overlords. This is going to pretty massively supply block Xylo once again. 90 of 68 now. A couple of roaches moving out in front and taking a lot of damage, and the reason why is because there's a big drop in the main base as well. Roaches were defending against that. Some drones went down there. Meanwhile, his natural base is being completely overrun. The drop is going to come join, I think, at the natural here. And they're going to do a lot more damage down here, and still only a few roaches to help defend this. He's going to pick up and just kind of bounce between bases for a while. Now he's going to go, well, I think he's going to go for the third. He's going to send 1 drop over to the third, and the other drop into the main base, and still just be annoying as possible, killing as many workers as possible. I mean, 53 to 38 workers at the moment. More workers could possibly go down, but actually those units were focusing on the roaches themselves. But third base under fire once again. BCX just pulling his opponent apart, and again behind all this, he has another army moving across the map.
Third base does go down now for BCX. Completely uncontested, really. Xylo's not going to be able to move across the map for the longest amount of time. And BCX can kind of just drop forever. There's really nothing stopping him doing multi-prong drops. It's going to be real hard for Xylo to defend this. And the army of BCX pushing out the front door. Has a few Widow Mines, a Marauder or two with some Marines. Mules come down, GG called. BCX will advance. The snigger there from the Manny Mules.
Yeah, well, no surprise seeing those come down. It was a good plan from Xylo. I mean, he did a good amount of damage with that early push, but this was not quite enough to actually force his opponent out, so Xylo will be eliminated here, and BCX will move on and join Roxas as the first two players into the round of 16. So congrats to them, and of course, congrats to Xylo and Smiley. They did actually make it here. They did have to, try a little bit at least to get to the round of 32, so it did take some effort from them. So congrats to them sticking around. That's going to do it for today, at least.